Welcome to the Ironwood Gym. First, before we get started, I just want to ask you to, if you like the videos that you've been seeing, I've got several out now, hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Again, if you have someone that would be interested in these videos, if you have coaches, lifters that you think could get something out of this, please share it with them, send it to them, let them know about it so they can start watching these as well. These are pretty much strictly at this point for educational purposes, so hoping you guys get something out of this. If you do, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, please. Today, we're going to give kind of a mathematical demonstration, if you will, over volume and how sets and reps correlate to this and how that works in regards to loading. So, and this specific example is going to be a 3-week wave for hypertrophy. Okay, and that's what everyone wants, right? We all want to get bigger. So if you watched my video and it was, or listened to it, it was pretty long. It was called The Complexities of Volume, Intensity, and Load. And you could have seen that it's not, I probably made it more complicated than what it needs to be. I have a tendency to do that. But I was trying to get a point across that we need to challenge the current status quo or the current mindset and realize that some of these concepts that we think are so simplistic and easy to understand, when you actually interrelate them and see how they work with different types of training, that it becomes more complex and it becomes not such a simple answer, if you will, that it's not just A plus B equals C. It's not 1 plus 2 equals 3. It's sometimes there's a lot of more things going on there that we need to learn to understand those concepts and how they interrelate. So today we're going to use an example of something that I use as a 3-week wave for building hypertrophy. And we're going to tie this into the complexities of volume, intensity, and loading. And it's also kind of a precursor to my next full-length episode, which will cover hypertrophy. It's not out yet, but that'll be episode 16. So it should be coming out probably in the next few days. But I'm gonna look at this kind of mathematically and see how, not just how the sets and reps change, but how the loading changes. And that's the point we need to get across, is how the loading changes, because it's the loading that induces the less or more stress on our body, and that's how we're going to get the results that we're going after. So most people, most coaches, I'm not condemning anyone, because I do the same thing. I still do the same thing, depending upon what I'm trying to accomplish and how important something is versus something else. So but a lot of times you'll see hypertrophy is limited. They'll do 3 sets of 12 on week 1, 3 sets of 10 on week 2, and 3 sets of 8 on week 3. Okay, but that presents some problems, and that's what we're going to try to satisfy here. And what I have done, and it's still just sets and reps. Don't overthink that this is some magical formula, but it has worked for me very well, is that I have adjusted the sets and reps so that my loading, my total loading, is increasing over a 3-week period. Excuse me. And I got this, kind of where I came up with this originally was Jim Wendler's 5-3-1. He had something in there called boring but big. And he recommended doing 5 sets of 10 after you finish your main exercise. I didn't apply that to the big exercises. I've applied it to things like rows, lat pulls, shoulder exercises, things that I'm trying to build, because I build most of my hypertrophy through the assistance work. So I've applied it to assistance exercises, and it has worked very well. Not just the 5x10. I modified it to fit my needs more, and I came up with a 3-week wave. So my 3-week wave is week 1 is 3 sets of 15. Now these are challenging sets. It's not just 3 sets of 15. So it's not, I don't have percentages set down. I don't have rep maxes or anything like that, but these are maybe the first set's light, then I've got 2 sets very hard. Week 2 would be 4 sets of 12. Okay, again, maybe 1 set, kind of an intro set, and then another set's pretty difficult, and then 2 sets very difficult. Okay, and then week 3 would be 5 sets of 10, following that method of having a lighter set to start out with and then progressing. So you're getting 3, maybe 4 sets of very high difficulty. So when we're looking at this, and I'm going to do both examples, and I know this is kind of hard. This is probably the best I could get it to work out with the video. So it's kind of hard to see. I hope I'll explain everything as I go. Hopefully you can see it all right. And my head's probably going to be cut off as well, but I got to do what I got to do to get this thing to make it look okay. So, so I'm going to give you both examples, and I'm going to change it just to make it come out a little bit better. So the common example is I'm going to do 3 sets of 15, 3 sets of 12, and 3 sets of 10. So we'll use the same reps on on both. You'll see it here in a second, in both examples. So 3-week wave. This is the standard way it's done. So you're going to have 3 sets. You're going to have 15 reps. And that's going to give you a volume of 45 total reps. Okay, it is a little bit difficult to see there. I'll walk you through it. So, week 2, you're going to have 3 sets. Again, let's put a line through here. Okay, week 2 will be 3 sets, 12 reps. Now, your volume is only 36 reps. All right? And we're going to continue this down, but you can see the drop in volume. We'll worry about, I have tonnage over here on the far right, which we'll get to. We'll save that for last. So now your volume is drastically being cut down. All right, and then the 3rd week, three sets of 10 for 30 reps. That's 30 total reps over your 3 sets. So you've lost 15 reps in 3 weeks. Now the common mindset here, conventional wisdom is, well, my weight is going up. My weight is going up, so it's okay that I lost the volume. Just wait. Okay, I'm going to show you how this does not work out as well as you want it to work, or as well as we commonly think it does. So now we're going to apply my method, where we're going to increase the number of sets. As the reps go down, we're going to increase the number of sets. Okay, so we're going to start out with the same thing. As the conventional method, 3 sets of 15, 45 total reps. But now on week 2, we're going to increase the reps are going to come down just a little bit, just like the first method, but our sets are going to go up just by 1. We're just going to increase it by 1 set. So now we have 4 sets of 12, and we're going to actually have 48 total reps. So my volume now is going up. At the same time, I'm increasing the weight. Okay, because if I go down to sets of 12 from 15, I should be able to utilize more weight. That's 3 less reps per set. I can utilize more weight, and I have more total reps in the tank. All right. Now I'm going to increase it again. Okay, so now I'm going to do 5 sets of 10. So I increase by 1 set every week. My reps stayed the same as the first method, the conventional method, but I increased the sets by 1 each week. So now I'm getting to that 5 sets of 10, which was how all this started out, me thinking about 5 sets of 10, boring but big, from Jim Wendler's 5-3-1. But I'm like a lot of people. I don't want to do the same thing every week. I didn't like the boring part of it, so I created a wave. Look at my volume. 45 reps is the same, but now I've got, in week 2, I'm doing 12 more reps in the conventional method. By the time I get to week 3, I'm doing 20 more reps than the conventional method. Okay? So my volume is actually increasing from week to week. I went from 45 to 48 to 50. Okay, total reps. From week 1 to week 3, I've increased my volume, I've increased my sets, and now I'm doing more work than what the conventional method would be by just doing a standard 3 sets. Okay, so now let's look at tonnage. And I'm just going to use an example here of 100 pounds. All right, and you can do this with any weight. As long as you use the weight the same in each example, you're going to see the difference between the two. So I'm going to use 100 pounds. Let's say it's an assistance exercise that I can utilize 100 pounds on the bar for. I don't know, maybe upright rows. I don't know. I'm just tossing that out there. So in week 1, we know we did the same thing. So in week 1, 100 pounds times the 45 reps, that's going to give us 4,500 pounds. Okay, and in both cases, because we're doing the same thing, we are going to get the same initial loading or tonnage. Okay, 4,500 pounds. So week 2, this is where you're going to see the difference. If you're working for hypertrophy, you want to do a lot of work. Okay, but not just a lot of work, it needs to be very fatiguing work. Again, watch episode 16, it's coming out soon. And we'll talk about hypertrophy. And that's why I'm utilizing this example, because this is what I do, one method that I utilize to build hypertrophy. So, using the conventional method now, the conventional wisdom, 3 sets of 12, now my workload is only 3,600 pounds. So I dropped from 4,500 to 3,600. Total weight lifted throughout the workout. And then in week 3, I dropped the whole board, and we have to figure something else out. But then in week 3, now I'm down to 3,000 pounds. Okay, so I've lost 1,500 pounds of work that I've done that from week 1 to week 3. Conventional wisdom again says, well, the weight makes up for it because you're utilizing more weight. Well, yeah, but you're utilizing more weight, but your total amount of work that you're doing has went down. Okay? You're utilizing more weight per set, but you're doing a lot less reps, so your total workload has went down. Okay? That's not how we want to accomplish hypertrophy. It's not the best way to build the most amount of muscle mass. So let's look at my method of increasing the sets each week. All right? Just by increasing one set, just doing one extra set. Week 2, 4,800 pounds. Week 3, 5,000 total pounds. Okay, so in week 3, I'm doing 2,000 pounds more work than I was in week 2. With that 100 pounds on the bar, doing upright rows. Okay, I increased my total workload from week 1 to week 3 by 500 pounds. Okay, this is what you want to be doing to get stronger. This is what you want to be doing to get bigger. All right, you have to increase the load. If you constantly, as the standard method of doing things, volume goes up, intensity goes up, and volume goes down, that's not helping us. Okay, we need to increase the amount of work we're doing, not decrease the amount of work we're doing. Try this out. Okay, try it out. Don't stick with the standard method of doing things just because that's what it said to do in a book. Try this out. See how it works. Okay, listen to a lot of lifters and coaches that have been there and done it and have had results, and see what they're saying about workload. Louis Simmons talked about this. Okay, arguably greatest powerlifting coach ever. He talked about you always have to increase the amount of work you're doing. You always have to increase. He even utilized a method similar to this in calculating his weights for dynamic effort work. That's not what we're going after here. We're talking about hypertrophy, but the principle still holds that you want to increase the total amount of work you're doing over the course of time in order to induce hypertrophy. Okay? That's what this is doing. This is the loading. All right? This is the loading aspect. So as time goes on, my load is increasing. Time under tension is going up. All right? If we want to increase time under tension, that's a very common thing that people have talked about over the years. They want to increase time under tension to increase hypertrophy. That's not happening when you decrease your reps and keep your sets the same. It is happening if you increase the sets at the same time. So my volume goes up, my tonnage goes up, my total time under tension has to go up. Okay? So hopefully you can see what I'm trying to get across here. Again, referencing back to my video, episode 15, the complexities of volume, intensity, and load, and looking forward to my next video about hypertrophy, okay, and methods of increasing, of developing hypertrophy. Increase the load. It's one of the top ways, is especially when it comes to assistance work or any type of work. If you're trying to build lots of muscle mass, you have to increase loading. That's going to conclude this exercise. I'll try to get a closer clip of this here in just a second. Right before, let me roll forward, and then I'll shut it down and look at just this board so you can take a look at it as your final shot. But again, like the channel or like the video if you like what you're seeing. Ask questions. Feel free to comment on there. Ask questions. I will definitely get back to you. And subscribe to the channel. All right. Share it with your lifters and your friends that are lifters and coaches if you think they can get something out of it. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the day. Stay strong. Until next time, I'll see you on the Ironwood Gym. And give me just a second and I'll have you back up here looking at this table. Alright, here is a close-up of the table that I just drew. It wasn't very visible in the actual video. As you can see, the red is the conventional wisdom method, just doing 3 sets of exercise each week and decreasing the reps as you go each week. So from 15 to 12 to 10. The green, which looks almost black, I'm trying to get a better angle on this. It is green, but it looks almost black there. As you can see, the reps increase each week, resulting in more total work being done throughout the 3 weeks.